side ban as we typically see here. We do see a little bit more bonus time being eaten up. And an Arden is picked up by Vision Gaming. You know, one of those top 4 captains we always talk about. We typically see him here as one of the top 3 captain picks, if not Churnwalker, if not Grace. And we do see a Rona picked up on the other side for Nova Esports rather. And this is going to be another bloodbath here with all those red mists and into the phrase, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And for the side of Nova, I was getting to say they have a pretty rough call here to make. So, you can obviously ban away the Sky and take away that counter to Rona, or there's always the potential you can allow it through and try to get the Sky and the Rona for yourself. But they're going to go ahead and ban away the Sky. The Taka is followed up with Vision Gaming there. And now it's a Churnwalker. And wow, that was quick. Vox and Rhyme to answer back Vision Gaming. They must have known what they were looking for on that one. And it's going to be the hyper carry Vox with the Rhyme trying to keep the Rona at bay.
Yeah, this is a clear protect the carry composition here. With the potential for some dive too, because if we pick up Journey Boots on that Rhyme, then he could just keep going in there over and over again. So definitely have to see how that plays out. But we see a little bit of that bonus time being eaten up by Nova, scratching their heads about this, and Black Feather is actually picked up by them. And as we know, Denominate, Black Feather in the jungle with Rona up there in the lane is a pretty deadly combination.
Yeah, it absolutely is. This is a very scary composition, actually. While Rhyme should be fairly tanky and can sustain himself a little bit, I fear pretty heavily for the Vox, especially if Churnwalker is allowed to get a hook and chain down. And with Eco being over here on this Churnwalker, you have to expect he's going to be able to land those hooks and chains. This is the final game of the night. Whoever wins this wins the series and moves on to play, to be up against, I believe, Hammers, right? That's the way the thingy-majigger looks. Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, the thingy-majigger, indeed. That's the way it looks, yeah. Whoever wins this game, yeah, the brackets, yeah, whoever wins this game will go up. Either Nova or Vision will go up against Hammers January 25th next week, and it looks like we're on to the Halcyon Fold. Game 3 here tonight of the second series. We are in Vision versus Nova Esports. The backs, well, everything is on the line here. Both these teams are on the front. Well, actually, we have Vision on the front foot, but both these teams have everything on the line tonight to stay in this tournament for the Halcyon Elite League here. And we see kind of the typical stuff here, except Eco is actually in the mustache bush up in the lane, seeing if he can spot somebody out. But he threw that the scout trap down there, Denominate, to spot out anybody rotating through that tri-bush.
Yeah, it's not the most typical rotation. We typically will see the captains rotate down here to the middle portion of the jungle, trying to get some vision and spot out the enemy team. And if they're trying to do the Elder Treant there, instead, Eco obviously went into the lane and looked to get a little bit of vision down in the tri-bush as well. But now, that's a beautiful start, as it was PvP Warrior rotating into the lane to get his farm. That's going to be a Treant going over to the side of Nova. And now FPG, he's coming up into the lane. He's only missed out on, I believe, 1, maybe 2 CS at this point. So not even in a rough spot for him.
Not really in a rough spot at all. PvP Warrior does have 7 CS to his name, 4 to FPG at the moment. We both we know that Rona has pretty good wave clear. Up against the Vox, though, it does have the range advantage, so he's able to stay back, apply some of that resonance to FPG, and PvP Warrior can just throw out those auto attacks at will, get some chip damage onto her. But PvP Warrior's got to be careful because he's going down to about 2/3 health there. And it looks like we have this minion candied lane pushing up a little bit into that tier 1 turret for Nova.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct here, Sean, as that minion candy has really come to light. It was kind of an interesting turn of events with the minion candy. We never really saw minion candy in North American competitive until Vainglory Worlds last year, or technically, I guess, 2016, technically, end of 2016. And that's really where Rox, who were Team Phoenix at the time, had brought in that minion candy, and it was tweeted out by several teams that, this is something that they never thought about. It just kind of went without getting looked at, and it was incredibly powerful. And then after Worlds, it really dwindled away. I mean, it was there for a minute, and then it was gone, and now just before Worlds again this year, it has made quite the rise again. Again, it's very good at helping push, and one of the big things that makes it so useful this particular update is the changes to minions and their damage onto turrets. So if you end up getting an ace wave that's minion candied directly onto a turret, that turret gets absolutely shredded with just the minions on it. So, some good gold spent can definitely help you push objectives early on in the game, as well as make it more difficult for the enemy laner to last hit and allow your minions a little bit more time bringing that barrier down.
Those are some pretty tough minions we got out there on the Fold, Denominate. And I expect in 5v5 we're going to be having even tougher minions out there. We're going to have those captain minions who are going to be able to just buff up the other minions that they have with them in the waves. So it's going to be very interesting, to see how things go once we hit 5v5. But here we are on 3v3, potentially the last 3v3 tournament in Vainglory here, before we hit the 5v5 update 2.12 for some of the golden ticket holders out there. But yeah, there's a lot of farming going back and forth.
You have yours, Sean. You have your golden ticket.
I do. I was pretty proud of it. I put that out there to the Twitter sphere, and people were able to look at my video. I think that was one of my most viewed videos, actually, on my Twitter of 2017. But enough of that. Let's talk about the Fold. We have Into the Fray onto PvP Warrior. He's able to get back out of dodge. He's pretty low on energy, so he needs to get back and fill up so he can be able to Sonic Zoom away if he's in trouble. Poison Shiv picked up by him, actually. And it looks like we have chains onto Kaz. He's able to break those pretty well. Starboy doing a bit of damage on the Shaded Talent, but he's pretty hefty, that guy, that Arden. He throws himself a Vanguard. And Kaz throwing a little bit of that Winter Spire out, but doesn't really quite connect with anybody. Looks like the teams will just go back to farming. After that really intense game 2, I can imagine why they would want to take it easy and just scale up here a little bit in the early game, Denominate.
Yeah, absolutely. With everything on the line, it's you have to play cautious. I mean, the drafts are overall fairly pretty even. I do want to give a slight edge to the draft on Nova, but only very, very slight. And part of that is because while Arden is a strong pick, we've obviously had some changes to how his gauntlet interacts with an Echo. You no longer get that Venn diagram. You still can get 2 gauntlets. It's just not quite that potent, really narrow your enemy down to only a couple tiles that they can walk across that it once was. And as well, Arden's not a huge game changer overall. He functions well with everybody, but he doesn't really excel at much of anything. And that's something that Churnwalker does. Churnwalker excels at his crowd control, and creating any sort of gap close for the team can help Rona and Blackfeather stick onto the right target, help get the kill onto this box early on, and that can make the difference between a win and a loss.
It totally can, and we do see a little bit of lane pressure here from Vision Gaming. They're able to rotate down, but the wave is cleared out pretty easily by Nova. They're rotating up and around, and do you see a little bit of a jungle invade here from PvP Warrior trying to steal away some camps, but the Treant actually does end up going over to Starboy there on that Crystal Blackfeather. I want to point out, too, that we do see FBG going in and doing some serious damage on the Kaz, but he's able to get a bit of that sustain from his barrier there. And now FBG may be in a bad situation, dude. He does get that healing tree in. He's able to back away. Spin to win, man. He needs to get some of that barrier again. Will he be able to get out of there on time? He does not. Taken out by PvP Warrior. First blood goes to him and Vision Gaming. It looks like we may not be done yet. And Starboy's getting some serious damage down onto him. He has to get under turret. PvP Warrior, Shaded Talent, hanging around there in that mustache bush. Throwing out those chains there, Eco is, but is able to get them broken. And PvP Warrior has just got so much lane pressure here on this wave. And looks like he's going to rotate down, but watch out. FPG is there. Going to be hitting you up, man. He doesn't turn his attention to him. He actually backs away, and the immense gold payout actually goes over to Vision Gaming. They themselves are up about 1,000 gold, not an insurmountable lead.
Yeah, and Starboy specifically, you know, he's now at level 9. He's got the overdrive on his on point. He's got some range to him, and that aftershock complete can start to be very, very potent. But Rhyme, his sustainability into triple melee is absolutely impressive, especially if he's able to get those Winter Spires onto all 3 targets. And potentially you can root up and allow this Vox to have all the more free time to dance around the fight, build up the breaking point stacks. I just hope that this Vox does end up going with the Sorrow Blade. Again, the Bonesaw, while it can be very effective in a really, really long fight, stacking up against an individual target, the Sorrow Blade route does allow you to stack that breaking point up quicker, which then allows you to transfer that damage to the next target. And it just makes so much more sense to me, as this turret is taking a little bit of aggro here, as it is Vision Gaming looking to be aggressive again. They want this game 3. They are the home team here. Sean Ostino, obviously, for the Halcyon Elite League.
Yeah, they are the home team. This turret's going pretty low, and it looks like FPG's throwing out some of those foe splitters, but he is not able to connect them with anybody other than the minions. Paz gets tormented back a little bit. PvP Warrior and Shaded Talent hanging out in that mustache bush there, just throwing out some of those auto attacks. FPG tries to get a little poke damage on there with Into the Fray, but he has to out of the fray, out of there. And, oh no, PvP Warrior, are you in a bad position, my friend? You just got stunned up, and now the gauntlet is down. Are you going to be able to get out of there, man? Throw down some damage. FPG going pretty low. He has to out of the fray. Eco, chains are in. Rhyme, Cause doing the work, taking out Starboy here, and it's a 1-for-0 trade going in favor of Vision.
Yeah, it's first blood going to Vision, it's first turret going to Vision. In fact, second kill went to Vision as well, and they're looking for kill number 3. PvP Warrior not quite able to find it, and man, that's rough. That's I mentioned that earlier too, Sean, is sometimes it's not worth diving for that kill, right? Like,
no, definitely not. Especially if you're going up against Eco, who's a churn walker. Come on, man, he's tanky.
Yeah, exactly. Not quite able to find that kill. Gave up his life to FPG here on this Rona. It was definitely an interesting call to be made. One that surely did not pay out in his favor. But I guess you could say it was the quick way to get back to shop, right? Maybe you pick up a kill. Maybe you take the quick way to the shop, but overall, lead is in favor of the side of Vision Gaming, and despite it only being 1 turret, they are sitting up almost 3,000 gold at this point, and that's pretty substantial here at about, approaching the 11-minute mark. Goldmine is filling back up, almost back full, and the Kraken will be on the board here in the next couple minutes. Kaz, as tanky as this Rhyme is, I wouldn't doubt it. If left alone, he could probably solo that Kraken out.
Yeah, I think he could. It looks like he may be building towards that Eve of Harvest next. He's playing for the late game here. He's got that Dragon's Eye in his inventory, so when he stays in these fights and he keeps dishing out that CP damage, he's going to be able to rank that damage up there. As long as he stays alive, which he very well could, as this sustainy, tanky Rhyme he is. They're working on this gold miner here. It's taken down to about half health now, and I don't know if Nova knows this is going on. They're not really rushing over here, but Eco knows something. He's Spidey sensors are tingling at the moment, and that gold payout goes over to Vision Gaming, and it looks like we may be having a little party here in the Tri-Bush. Gauntlet comes down. Valkyrie out as well, but a good trespass stuns up some of the members, and Starboy, he's going pretty low himself. He gets taken out by PvP Warrior. FBG probably going to be next on the list. Oh no, actually, it's the Churn Walker. Eco's taken out, and with FBG there alone, it's an ace going over to Vision Gaming, and a Crystal Sentry is next on the menu. Nom noms.
That was 3 kills easily lined up for PvP Warrior, racking up that breaking point. Just crazy amount of damage that a Vox can build up, especially with the light amount of armor that has been built by the side of Nova. FPG does have the Atlas Pauldron, wasn't able to get it onto target during that last fight though, and that allowed PvP Warrior to really accelerate in that fight at pretty much all points. Starboy is taking a bit of damage, quite low, gonna have to top himself off. He's gone with the Dragon's Eye, and this is something that I time and time again tell myself I hate on Blackfeather. The Crystal Blackfeather, we always tend to see you play the very poke-heavy game, and then once you've got something low, you're going in for the fight. But by the time that happens, you've lost all those stacks of Dragon's Eyes. So even though the pros keep building it, I never really see one of them get more than like 3, maybe 4 stacks of a Dragon's Eye before the fight's over. One way or another, so we'll have to see if it works out for Starboy here. Kaz, look at the shield this man has picked up. He is ready to go for the on points.
He wants to go toe-to-toe with Starboy right now. And it's too bad that Starboy picked that up. You know, it's like, I don't know the exact gold off the top of my head, but it is a little bit of a cheaper item if you compare it to a Broken Myth or a Shattered Glass. So maybe that's why he went that route. But Starboy is just dropping so fast. He was the first person to drop in the last team fight. So I don't feel like him picking up the Dragon's Eye is probably the best bet. Of course, it has a lot of potential, and there have been some changes to Dragon's Eye in 2.11. We have seen it get a little bit of a change where the stacks won't fall off as quickly, but you still have to maintain your stacks. And for a guy who wants to go in there, a Blackfeather who wants to go in there and poke and get out, get that barrier, get out, and maybe execute later on, it's a really difficult thing for him to maintain those stacks. Looks like we have this choke point turret getting sieged up here a little bit. A lot of damage falling onto it, but a good trespass actually stuns up PvP Warrior. He's gonna have to kite back. He gets himself a little bit of a barrier from that Vanguard. Spin to win, FPG coming in. He's going pretty low though. Is he gonna be able to take it? Oh man, that is really unfortunate. Now we have Starboy actually executing him down. Kaz falls as well, and now we have Eco going after the captain, Shaded Talent. Man, what a turnaround from Nova.
Well, Kaz, my man, you're feeling the pain of accidentally selling that Aegis away, trying to get rid of your healing flask. But overall, good fight there coming out of the side of Nova, and a rough time for Vision to lose that fight as this Kraken's now on the fold. Shaded Talent, he is alive at PvP Warrior. He's coming back onto the fold now. I don't think it matters. Nova, they've got this Kraken in the bag. They are going to finally get themselves the first turret, maybe the second turret as well, depending on how far this push goes. Starboy, 3 offensive items now complete on this here Blackfeather, and Kaz struggling to get the second one online as he heavily set himself back, had that Aegis complete, accidentally sold it off. That's a pretty sizable waste of gold there for the side of Vision.
Oh, it's such a difficult thing to dominate, to have something like that happen. And good sharp eyes on catching that, by the way. But this Kraken's pretty healthy still. Gets a little bit of damage onto her, but she's still going to be going towards that tier 2 turret here. And it looks like we have a little bit of a Torment back. A good trespass onto 2 members of Vision Gaming. Eco coming in, throwing those chains. FPG, spin to win, man, out of the fray. They want to get out of there. And they actually, what was that? A scout trap that got thrown down? They got flared out on top of their heads, but we do see this Kraken getting up to the choke point turret, and it was a pretty good trade there for them, taking out those turrets, and you know nobody got killed, but at the same time they got some chip damage, actually pretty good amount of damage onto the choke point turret. So if I was Nova, I got to be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, definitely got to be feeling good for the side of Nova at this point. It's been Vision in control for a majority of the game. And now Nova starting to turn things around, and I see PvP Warrior has picked up himself a Piercing Spear here, likely going into that Bone Saw. We have not seen success with this build yet here, Sean Ostino. It's always been the Vox that wins, has the Sorrow Blade. And now, granted, there is usually an edge built early on. They do have a 5,000 gold lead here. I definitely think the Sorrow Blade could, be worth going for. you do have to really watch out for those Atlas Pauldrons, but they're not quite the heavy armor that a Metal Jacket is. So the Bone Saw, to me, I don't like it. We haven't seen it successful yet. We've seen the Sorrow Blade help penetrate the armor better than the Bone Saw, and I'm going to stand by that.
Yeah, you know what? We've actually seen some pretty good videos out there on YouTube, thanks to Xscoundrel, that have actually pointed out those very similar facts. But here we go. We're getting into it. Shaded Talent throws the gauntlet down off the mark, man. And now we have a Valkyrie dropping down. Fountain is actually popped to keep members of Nova alive, but they're all going pretty low. PvP Warriors trying to kite away. Oh, man, FPG. He tries to get out of the fray, but he's actually stopped. Taken out by Cause, and now we have Eco taken out as well. Those death timers are getting pretty high. Starboy down to about half health. He's going to have to go back into the Sanctuary, heal himself up. But that was a really good 2-for-0 trade for Vision Gaming, and this choke point turret is down for them. And Starboy trying to make something happen here. I don't know, man. What happened there, Denominate? Kraken's on the leash. What's going to happen for Vision Gaming now?
Vision Gaming, they were able to pick up 2 kills in that last fight. FPG was so separated by a beautiful gauntlet coming out of Vision Gaming Shaded Talent. Starboy, he did use his Rosa offensive to get out of the first gauntlet placement, but that was already his second charge. He used the first one as an engagement tool, so with that second gauntlet coming down and no block built here on this Blackfeather, he had no way to rejoin the fight. He had no way to get to FPG specifically and try to help out finding that kill onto the last target. Meanwhile, FPG had already used his blocks in the fight, was unable to get out of the gauntlet, and in turn suffered his life to PvP Warrior. And here we go. This fight is getting out of
Gauntlet come down. Starboy, he's going pretty low, and Kazi's being able to sustain so much, throwing out those Winter Spires, chill wins, and the like. FPG, spin to win, man. He's doing what he can there. Kaz is going to have to kite away, but look at this. We've left the Kraken alone, and PvP Warrior, he's in the base. What are they going to do? Are they going to be able to backport? They have to. They've got to do this. Otherwise, this is going to be game for Vision Gaming. Eco, he's ported back. He's trying to do something here, trying to distract, but the Kraken is just too healthy. This looks like it's too late. This looks like Nova have put themselves in such a bad position. Denominate, it looks like Vision is going to be getting Game 3 in the series tonight, going up against their old rivals, Nova. What a game and what a play coming out of Vision.
Yeah, Vision close it out and take down what would be considered the higher seed Vainglory 18 if we were looking at a lineup right now, as far as what last season finished at least. And that's going to put them on up against the Hammers Esports of Hollywood Hammers coming up next weekend, I believe, on the 25th, if I remember correctly. So that will be some exciting matchups for you guys. Really well played out of both of these teams. Nova, they showed several signs of life in that last game. Able to pick up a couple very stunning and quick kills, but at the end, the Vision were able to close that one out. The Bonesaw build worked out for PvP Warrior, so I'm going to let it slide this time around, but we'll have to see as we get into our games next time we